Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe, we're gonna look into a deep dive into Warframe's Veilbreaker update, the new Wolf Warframe, Archon fights, and Call's return. Pretty much just going over whatever we know about Veilbreaker at this point. The article was written by Connor Makar? Okay, I'm terrible with names. And it happened around 10:00, okay? No shock, this released around 10:00, so hey. Since we're in a calm time, I thought it's a good time to go over what we should be expecting in Veilbreaker. We kind of know what to expect based on the trailer, because I'm not going to lie, it showed off pretty much most things, and you could kind of guess from what we saw even more things. But hey, let's get full on confirmation. They talk about 10:00 2022 brought on Veilbreaker, long-awaited Wolf Warframe. As such, we had a quick chat with Creative Director Rebecca Ford to touch on all added updates coming to Warframe in the wake of 10:00, including returning characters previously thought dead like Call and Era, how the new Archon fights will work, the fate of Frame Fighter, and more. Oh, Frame Fighter? What? I totally forgot Frame Fighter even existed. I gotta do some streams just dicking around fighting Frame Fighter and other of the Warframe mini games like Happy Zephyr? Happy? Something like that, right? Either way, remember to follow the Twitch, YouTube, like, sub, comment, everything helps, so thank you. Call is alive! Were they always going to make it past the new war? Was it a reaction to community's love for the character? Oh, who knows? Let's find out. Look at these goddamn ads. Okay, so Rebecca Fort says, that motivated us to prioritize it because we knew playable Call really resonated. We knew Vaso did not survive the new war quest. Yeah, dude blew the fuck up. But with Call, we left it ambiguous on purpose because we wanted to make sure that before we committed to a full Call update, that it did resonate, and such. Sure enough, it did. Oh, it did. Now we're ready to Veilbreaker Experience, which is very much strictly post-New War content. I'm pretty excited for Veilbreaker. It looks like a fun new game mode. I'm gonna practice some bosses before then, probably. And that plays into what you said a few months ago about the New War being sort of like a positive bottleneck. Are we going to see a full future updates, or sorry, all future updates be like Veilbreaker, where you have to finish New War first, or are we gonna have to get some updates like the Duvary Paradox, where you can jump in beforehand? Yeah, Warframe being 9 years updated now, going on this is very odd. The rest of this year is broken up between post-New War and oddly placed content, fair enough. I think we have to see how Duvary goes with people's access levels and then get started right away on where we go from there. I really want to make sure that anytime we release anything, the new player experience gets at least 5% of attention to cut down boundaries and old things that just prevent people from getting to the latest content. But we must be very careful. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a weird game, Warframe, after 9 years, how it's generally set up. I 100% agree that, yeah, it's a little odd. Was that Era in the Veilbreaker trailer? I thought they died. Well, I mean, clearly Era died, but not. Like, it looks like he got, like, right, because the stuff fell on him. So I assume, like, he got murked and kind of brought back. So, yeah, but what was on his head? Era invented the archons, which are sentient animals that are fused and grafted on warframes. And for Era, the creator of the archons, for his resurgence to be an archon form is the only way that any part of him made it through the new war, because he did effectively die. Yeah, the fucking beams just fell on him, crushed him. He died, but he got brought back as a former mutant freak of what he once was. Yeah, but Pragasa, one of the major settings of the new war, was basically sentient HQ. Picture Frankenstein's monster latching onto his body. Yeah, he's now poor slaved Archon Era. He is no longer the Era we once knew. Will the Archons be on their own individual missions on planets? We're actually doing another tier of sorties. Ooh, what we're going to do is bring the Archons back for a weekly content type of sorties. Week 1 will be Amar, Nero would be the next week, and you'll have all week to take them down in their weekly sortie, which will be their designated area. Okay. In addition, you're only going to be matched with other players that are in that difficulty tier to actually engage with the Archon content. So you can only fight one Archon a week, and it'll be in sortie tier. It sounds like you'll be able to, because you can replay missions, I think, just constantly be able to replay it, but we'll see. We're not sure how hard we're going to go with it because there's so many ways in Warframe to make it a very easy game. Yeah, true. So we're still figuring out those fights that are 4 Warframe player levels, because what you saw in the new war was the first 2 Archons were slow drifter combat, and people just kind of steamrolled the third one. When we bring 4 Warframes into a fight with an Archon, we have a lot of rebalancing work to do, but we're making a multiplayer closer to an endgame system with Archons. Oh, nice. I would always mainly consider bossing type to be, I guess, what endgame Warframe would look like, with like Profit Taker, all of the three, oh, I can't even think of it. Eidolons? That's the word. Nailed it. I was thinking like sentience. Anyways, so it makes sense. Warframe's seemingly gonna eventually just have a bunch of random bosses. That can be considered endgame, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see though. They look like they'll be fun. Are these new Archon fights going to be tied into acquiring blueprints for Steinach's 50th Warframe coming to the game? They're not right now, I don't think so. We're going to be doing something special with the first couple weeks that the 50th Warframe is available. And after that, I think we're actually putting it on playable call things, but we're still deciding. To be honest, unless there's a good reason to tie it with content, we usually make that decision a bit later in the game. Like obviously, quest Warframes have to come with the quest, but I think we're just a little unsure if people are going to want to play call missions to get Warframe. But right now, that's currently what we're thinking. Okay. If not, the new Warframe parts, what can players expect to get in terms of rewards from the Archon fight? Oh boy. Oh, we have a whole new system coming. Oh, slap my ass and call me Sally, a whole new system. I'm pretty happy. I'm actually pretty jazzed about Veilbreaker type stuff. I'm just sad that like it's pretty calm until then, but hey. Let's just say that those Archon crystals that fuse the head are the source of power for many things, including you. We have something very fun coming for that. Nice. Look at you, boy. Boy is back. Call. How long has the Werewolf Warframe been in the works? I know it's been somewhat of a running joke in the community for a while. Yes, it has been on and off since the community mentioned it. That's amazing. Whenever the community says something that seems like a passionate point, it's hard to rule it out. So for me, it's been a while. We wondered how we would actually do it in Warframe serving way. For months, we've been saying, well, we can't do this because we have Sevagoth. We can't do that because we have Valkyr. But what can we do? Luckily, the answer is we can try something really weird no matter what. It's going to be distinctly Warframe. Oh, hopefully the Wolf Warframe is just so fucking weird. Whatever the hell that'll mean. Can you speak on how it'll be distinctively Warframe? Well, I think that some really interesting point starts with the question, how are we really going to do a wolf theme without fur? Because we really want to make sure our body armor remains tech-based, and we don't want to have one of the 50 Warframes be fur. There's just so much wrong with that in terms of the character direction, so we had to make it feel more monstrous. And I think, to be honest, the best reference point within the Warframe universe is Nidus, because Nidus has their default state, and then they have their own mutation stack. So you can kind of imagine a lycanthropy slash monster form of that. It's a very much part of that style. We'll have a mutation form within the body itself, although not infestion based, I should clarify. Okay, so we kind of expected this, and I think we kind of talked about that, the Warframe having kind of like a Warframe werewolf mode, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. They're having the buffed werewolf mode frame, so I'm happy about that. Looks pretty cool. Do you think having content being explicitly post-New War makes it easier for you to develop genuinely challenging content? Yes. Well, yeah. We'd like to hit our players with soft progression walls. We have mastery rank checks for some content, which means you've collected a lot, but it's not necessarily a sign of your mod level and gear. Studies will show if you go too hard or too easy, but we think that the New War is a good indicator of someone's actual core competencies as a Warframe player. Can we expect any Frame Fighter updates? Bruh, no. Frame Fighter's dead. Rebecca Ford, this is probably sad. You can probably see in the mirror we have our Frame Fighter arcade cabinets. We're not really doing anything with it right now though, sorry. Yeah, like Frame Fighter, I always thought it was just one of those silly little game modes that they probably maybe spent a little too much time on, but maybe not, right? Like it was just a small little cute thing they threw into the game. But yeah, I don't think Frame Fighter fucking matters whatsoever. I'm surprised he even brought up Frame Fighter, because like, who fucking cares about Frame Fighter? Sorry, it just seemed like one of the most random things, but it's not like it actually matters. How often do people actually play that Frame Fighter cabinet? That cabinet, yeah, it probably hasn't been touched for 3 years because of the pandemic, so I'm in a weird room where no one comes in. Poor Rebecca Ford. Yeah, but no one cares about Frame Fighter anymore. It was never like a good fighting game, right? It was like a cute meme fighting game, because like obviously it's just a little mini game in Warframe. But hey, at least now we know that it's dead in the water pretty much. So that is what we know about new Archons, new Warframe game modes, the Wolf Warframe. All in all, it seems pretty cool, right? New game modes, new sorties, new sort of progression system, some sort of system in which you'll have to kill the Archons, harvest their crystal powers for their sweet, sweet juices, and then just become OP. So honestly, yeah, I'm looking forward to Veilbreaker. It looks really cool with a lot of interesting stuff to it. But yeah, with Warframe, the question is like, how can they make it hard enough but not too hard. And that's always like the biggest struggle, I would assume, for the development team. They're just like, fuck, how in God's name can we balance this in a great way? Because obviously, no matter what, people will always complain. Either it'll always be a little too strong or a little too weak, depending on player amounts, but it's always up to DE to try to figure that one out. And man, that's always probably been the hardest thing that they have to do. So hats off to you, DE. That's going to be a pain in the ass. Anyways, that is the end of this video. Just a small video talking about Veilbreaker, okay? I got to get all my stuff ready as I'm going to be gone this weekend on a small vacation, I guess. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. Sub, like, favorite. Check out all the socials. Twitch, Epic Games Store, creator code Pupsker, you know, all that jazz. So thank you, and I will see you next time. Peace.